special feeling that become memories. Favorite melodies sung in harmony, lyrics that will tell your story. Come and join the adventures that we now share.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of the Songs of Our Lives. My name is Wendell Phipps. Today we have a treat in store for you. We will hear from an amazing local artist named Eleanor Rindlisbacher, who is 89 years of age and is the matriarch of the locally and internationally famous Rindlisbacher art family. Eleanor still paints and does art every day. She will be interviewed by a family member, Lois Rindlisbacher, who will talk to her about her years of creating art and the adventures surrounding that. We will answer a song request for Eleanor as well.
Well, I'm sitting here with Eleanor Rindlisbacher, one of my very favorite women in the world, one of the most talented and gifted women I've ever met, and very generous. Eleanor, you've been very generous with your talent and your giftedness. And we'll get into that as we look at your life. 89 years of a wonderful life. You've been given so much. Let's start back. Eleanor is an artist at heart and the mother of 6 beautiful children and 15 grandchildren. And tell us about your life. So we're talking about your life and how you've given to the world what you have. And we will talk about how she has given to the world. So, Eleanor, tell us about your early recollection of your days in art and what you've done.
Well, the first thing I recall is doing artwork for the teacher on the blackboard in grade 3. Sister Louise was her name. And in grade 4, that teacher had me do also Mexican drawings of cactuses and ponchos and stuff like that on the blackboard also. And the grade 6 teacher I had, she suggested that I ask my mother if I could go to the YMCA for art lessons at the YMCA, which was just off of Willette Avenue at the time. And in fact, she gave me a little jar of white commercial, I guess art paint, and I'm still using it. It's almost gone, but I still have it. And that's from, I was 11 years old then.
Wow, to 89. Wow, that is very interesting.
And then my high school teacher in grade 9, Sister, I just dropped her name. Anyway, she was going to Detroit every Saturday with another nun for art lessons, and they had me ask my parents if I could go with them. And I did that. Every Saturday I'd meet them at the tunnel, and we'd walk down Woodford Avenue just to about near Grand Circus Park. And there was, on the 3rd floor, there was a lady teaching art lessons. And I noticed a lot of commercial stuff on the walls. And that's where I picked a lot of interesting stuff up there.
And wonderful. Mm-hmm. Okay, so after high school, then what happened?
I just kept painting.
What did you like to paint?
Anything anybody asked me to paint.
I love it. Because I know you've done posters.
The same teacher had me do an oil painting, which was on it was on a window blind, because it was material like a canvas. And it was about 8 feet long and maybe 5 feet tall, and it was for St. Peter's School, because the nuns were job teaching at St. Peter's School, which had just opened in Riverside. And they wanted to donate painting for the foyer. And so I did the 12 Apostles on this large painting.
Wow.
And they had it at the school for about 10 years. And then accidentally, Frank Chauvin happened to come here to see my husband. And he told me when he found out who I was, I knew him from years ago that we were in the Regis Club together. And he said he lived down the street from this school. And when they were tearing it down, he asked them what they were doing with this painting. And he took it home.
Oh.
And he had it in his basement for a long, long time. And then he got involved with charity work with some of the missions. And so he and his wife took their truck and put the painting in the truck because they used to deliver groceries and clothes to this mission near Oshawa or somewhere out at the other end of Ontario.
Okay.
And they brought the painting with them and brought it there. And who knows where it is now.
Yeah.
I think it went into a church for a while and then to some mission place.
Okay. So again, your artwork has traveled across the world, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that you started to work at Windsor Print, which was Harold's company. So do you want to talk a little bit about...
Well, about 2 years after we were married, Harold opened his own shop, print shop. And I guess I was automatically involved with doing all the logos and brochures and whatever that came along that needed artwork.
Well, and back then, artwork was done pen in hand.
Oh, yes.
No magic boxes like you call them, right?
No.
And you did a lot of logos, brochures. So do you remember some in particular? I know you've done a lot of restaurant menus.
Yes.
The Hi-Ho.
Yeah.
That one in
Lumberjack.
Lumberjack.
I've done
Franco's.
Yes.
I can remember that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. A variety of those.
Yeah. The Hi-Ho.
Right.
Yeah.
That one, because you did the
Seven
Snow White
Dwarfs.
and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah.
Yes, you were very good at doing those.
Their menu that I did was entered in some competition across Canada, and they won a prize
That's awesome.
for their menu.
That's awesome. Actually, I just in thinking of contests and things that you've won, you just did a logo not too long ago for the new Good Shepherd Church.
Oh, yes.
And there were a lot of entries for that, and your
Yes.
logo.
They picked mine.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's you see it every time you drive by that church, and
Right.
it's on their letterhead, everything.
Yes, it
That's-
is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Now you also have a very unique ability to paint animals and people on rocks. Tell us about your rock history and the rock collection, because this is a fascinating story. So tell us about the rocks.
Well, about one, I guess it was 1982, around that time, my daughter Mary went to work as a nurse in Toronto, and she was there a few weeks and called me and said I was at the Eaton Center and they had a gift shop and they had a cat painted on a rock and they were charging $80 for it. She said, what did you do with all those rocks we picked up on our holiday, which happened to be a few years earlier? I said, they're in the basement. She said, why don't you paint them? So I did. Started painting rabbits and all kinds of animals. And Harold took the first few, which are over there.
Oh, that's right.
To he said, "Can I take these today?" And in the afternoon, the lady called me, and she was from the Windsor Art Gallery, and she asked me if I was selling them. And I said, I didn't think to sell them. She said, "Would you take $25 each?" And I almost fell off my chair. And so a few months later, she called again and asked for me to give her some more. But we happened to be at that end of town one day, months later, and I asked Harold to stop. I wanted to see if they still had them at the gallery. And they had some there, and they were selling them for $50 each. So I was really in shock. Yeah.
But,
So that's what started me painting rocks.
rocks, yes.
And I'm up to about, and I tried to keep track of, I didn't paint rocks actually. I probably did about 300 between 1980 and the year 2005 or 6. Then I started to keep track, and I'm up to about 2,800.
That's incredible.
Different rocks.
So you became a very, very crafty at doing animals, all different animals, and then you also had portraits. People would send you portraits, and you started doing those as well, right?
Yes, well, when I was in grade 9, Sister Mary Helen was the nun. She made arrangements that I could go to Willowstead Art Gallery.
Mm-hmm.
They had a fellow by the name of Sergio Di Paoli who was giving art lessons, and so I went and did oil painting, and he had people sitting to have their portraits painted, and that was also very helpful.
I bet.
And of course, still life things too, flowers and whatever plants and
Yes,
stuff.
a lot of butterflies and
Everything.
birds and yes. And now you also have a whole collection, because I've seen your books, because you've taken pictures of all of your paintings, all of your rocks.
I've tried.
Yes, and you have a whole section of holy rocks too, right?
Oh yes.
So a lot of different
Well,
saints.
that was actually Mary that started me doing that, because she was in Texas and her husband was at the hospital, and the priest from the church went to visit him regularly. So she called and she said, "Why don't you paint a rock that I could give to the priest for being so nice?" And I said, "Well, what's his name?" She said, "Father Connors." I said, "It sounds Irish. Do you want me to paint St. Patrick on a rock?" And she said, "Oh no, do the Pope." So I did a rock with Pope on it. And after that, I kept doing St. Teresa's and St. Joseph's. I think I've done about 170 or 180 rocks with St. Joseph on it. And a friend, which I gave one of those, she said, "Oh, I'm going to give this to the sister at St. Joseph's Convent in London." And I said, "Well, I could give you some more." So finally, I ended up giving the St. Joseph's Convent about 44 St. Joseph rocks.
Wow, wow.
Because it's the St. Joseph's Convent there.
Sure.
Yes.
And Mother Teresa. There you
And
have a
I've done-
great collection of Mother Teresa.
Yes.
Because you had, working with you, well, for Harold, a nurse that would come in with Harold, who knew Mother Teresa, right?
Well,
You wanna tell us about that?
actually, it was, I think it was Mary again asked me to do a Mother Teresa for somebody.
Mhm.
And a lady came to visit Julie's husband, Dr. Butler, and she told Dr. Butler that she had been a dental assistant
Right.
in New York, and that she had even worked on Mother Teresa's teeth.
Wow.
And he said, oh, by coincidence, my mother-in-law just painted a rock with Mother Teresa on it.
There you go.
And she said, oh, I would love to have one. So he told her to come and see me, and so I did. And then she came back, and she said she had just received, this was like a month later, a notice that the doctor or the dentist that she had worked with in New York on Mother Teresa, that he had just passed away. And she was very close to his 3 children from the time that she worked there. And she was going to go to his memorial service, and she asked if I could paint 3 rocks with Mother Teresa on them so that she could give one to each of the 3 children.
Wow.
So, and then I did quite a few after that too.
Well, of course.
You asked for a few too.
I did because a friend works at the school, Mother Teresa, or Mother of Calcutta, and so I gave, because of your generosity, I gave them the teacher and some other people who he had worked with or who he does work with, and then I knew from there as well the Mother Teresa rock. So,
Right.
you know, that my statement about you having spread all over the world is such a true statement. You've sent rocks to Italy. You've sent them to Australia. My brother lives in Australia. He has some St. Anthony. So tell us about the rocks in Italy.
Oh, well, I guess I went to visit with my mother 19... I can't remember the year anymore. Anyway, they had a German Shepherd, the German Shepherd dog.
Mhm.
So when I came home, I painted it because we had a picture of it, and I sent them one.
All over the world.
And then I sent them a nativity rock at Christmas time too.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And to the cousins too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not only are you talented, but, and I know we have spoken about your son Peter, who's an artist, a world-renowned historical marine artist, Julie, your daughter, who does beautiful artwork as well. Now your granddaughter Katie. Oh my goodness. Yes. And talking about Katie, now when we did talk about songs of our lives, Katie used to play the piano. You said you love the piano playing and hearing the piano. Katie used to play a song, and it was by Leonard Cohen, the Hallelujah song.
Just loved it. Yes.
You love that song.
Mm-hmm.
And what about that song is so intriguing to you? What do you
Well,
like?
it was just such a nice song. That's all.
Very calming.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And when you're painting, do you listen to music? Do you enjoy it?
If I can find a station that has it, yes.
Then
Oh yes.
that's good. Music is the, I've said this several times, but a universal language. It helps us focus. It helps us think.
It's calming.
Calming, for sure, sure. Of all the incredible things that you've done, you have painted Tecumseh. So tell us the story behind the painting and what has become now a stamp of Tecumseh.
Well, I guess I have to blame Tom for coming up with the idea. It was going to be the anniversary of Tecumseh Town, named after Tecumseh. And he did research for about half a year, looking up all the different faces that had been painted of Tecumseh over the years. I think he came up with about 13 different images.
Sure.
And he chose 1 or 2 that he thought was more accurate, and he asked me to do a painting, which I did on a canvas, which was about 18 by 30 inches.
Mm-hmm.
And so when it was finished, he decided he would show it to the fellow at the Historical Museum at the corner there on by Tecumseh Town.
Yes, yeah.
And he was quite enthused about it, and decided to make postcards with this picture on it. And then he also decided later on that he would get stamps made from the same picture.
Wow.
And the original painting is at Fort Malden in Amherstburg.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
And so that's how all that came about.
And Peter has paintings there in Fort Malden as well,
Oh,
right?
yes, lots.
It's all
Lots of
the
paintings.
War of 1812. Wow, like mother, like son. That's awesome. Thank you for doing that. The Tecumseh town is quite proud to have that relic and that painting and a portrait of him that
And they
we
sell
can-
the stamps there too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I say that your love is like if we blew up a balloon and filled it with glitter and poked it. The glitter would go all over the world. Eleanor Rindlisbacher, your gifts and talented have been seen everywhere. So thank you. We will, just asking about the song request. So your favorite song is the Hallelujah song?
I would say yes.
Yes. And you know, we will for sure have that sung for you and done for you, and just thinking about the words hallelujah and what God has done for you and what the talent that He's given to you and how you graciously have given that back to so many people all the time, all over the world. Eleanor, you are an incredibly amazing woman.
Well, you are very generous, Lois.
Thank you, Eleanor. We have spent the last bit of time with Eleanor Rindlisbacher and her life and her artistic abilities and her song requests. So thank you for tuning in to the Songs of Our Lives. I'm Lois Rindlisbacher. Have a great day.
Thank you, Lois and Eleanor, for sharing such a rich and varied artistic story. Eleanor, your generosity and output as an artist is tremendous. Well, ladies and gentlemen, at this point in our show, we'd like to answer Eleanor's song request with a performance of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah by a favorite local singer named Josh Johnson, who will be accompanied by our own Ian Smith. Ian will also orchestrate the recording. Eleanor, this song is for you.
Mother heard there was a secret chord David played and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do ya? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, and the major left. The baffled king can pause it. Hallelujah, hallelujah. I said hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Well, your faith was strong, but you need to prove. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty in the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to the kitchen chair. She broke your throne and she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah, hallelujah. I said hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Mr. Ian Smith, ladies and gentlemen. time that you let me know what's really going on below. But now you never show that to me, do you? Well, remember when I moved in your holy love was moving too, in every breath we drew one. Hallelujah, hallelujah. I said hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. But all I ever loved enough was how to shoot somebody about you, yeah. Well, it's not a cry that you hear at night. It's not from someone who's seen the light. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Hallelujah. I said hallelujah. 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 I said hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah,
Thank you, Josh and Ian. My goodness, Josh, your voice is so beautiful, and Ian, such a lovely orchestration to accompany. Thank you, fellas, for a great performance. Well, that concludes this episode of the Songs of Our Lives. Until next time, this is Wendell Phipps.